Hi, this is Louise Steiner here from louisesteiner.com. Today I want to talk about the changes that Facebook made on the 18th of March 2011 when they basically stopped allowing us to use the static FBML application in order to create custom pages on our Facebook fan pages or business pages. So what we're now having to do is use iFrames, and there's been much talk about the fact that it's now much more difficult and that we have to use developers to create our pages. Today I am going to show you a new application which allows us to very easily create our own simple custom pages. So definitely a great replacement for the FBML or static FBML application. It's called static HTML. And to get started, what you're going to do is simply search for static HTML iFrames tabs. This is the one you're looking for. It's not the static FBML we used to use. It's this one here with the star icon. So the first thing we're going to do is install this onto our page, and to do that we simply go down to here where it says add to my page, click on that, and it's going to bring up a list of all your pages that doesn't yet have the application on it. So I'm going to add it to my test page, which is fan pages for small business. I'm going to add it, it disappears, and I close. That's all I'm going to do on this side. I'm now going to head over to my personal page, which is over here, and I'm just going to view the page, and you will see the little star icon and a welcome tab here. So to get started, we're going to click on that welcome tab, and it is going to bring up an edit page for us. So once we're in here, all we're going to do is copy our HTML code into this box here, this one over here. Now, I'll talk a bit in a minute about where you can get your HTML code from. It's not as complicated as it sounds. But before we do that, I'm just going to talk you through the rest of this site. So down here, you have the ability to put some content which would only be available to fans who have actually liked your page. So it's not going to be visible to non-fans. So we often call that a reveal tab. There are other names for it. I would personally call it a reveal tab. The other thing I wanted to point out to you is up here you have the frequently asked questions and help section. And obviously you'd want to read through all of this. But the things I wanted to draw your attention to is, first of all, how you add more tabs to your page. Now, at the moment, you can only add up to 3 tabs, which is more than most applications allow. But as you can see here, it says very soon you're going to be able to add up to 12 pages to your tab. And looking at their wall today, it is actually imminent. So by the time you're watching this, it's quite possible you'll be able to add up to 12 pages to your tab. The next thing I'd draw your attention to is prevent scroll bars from appearing. That is referring to this part here. You only have 520 pixels in width on Facebook before you're going to need a scroll bar. So if you don't want the scroll bars to appear, click this box and it will shrink your text to size. Similarly, if you wanted to import a website directly or a blog page directly into here, you can actually do that now, something you couldn't do before. But again, just remember you've only got 520 pixels, and most pages are wider than 520 pixels. So in this case, you are going to get scroll bars appearing. I haven't yet found out if there is a way of shrinking your page to size, but the reality is you probably wouldn't be able to read it if you did do that. So just something to bear in mind. But in order to import a page, you simply copy and paste this little bit of code down into here, and you replace this URL here, the HTTP example.com. You replace that with your URL. I tried it out. It works like a treat. So really useful little feature there. Beyond that, we also have an FBML mode, and it does allow you to literally copy and paste your FBML coding straight into this box here. Again, I tested it out, and I have to say it worked for about 99% of my coding. I did have to slightly adjust the formatting on that, so maybe they're still working on that, but nevertheless a great feature to get the majority of your FBML page across, if that's what you're needing to do. So once you've inserted your code, you're simply going to click on Save and View tab, and that is it. I'm going to show you a live example in a minute, but I want to show you where to get the HTML code from first. Before I do that though, what you might want to do is change the name of this welcome menu tab here. Also, this little star icon is going to be interchangeable at some stage in the future. Again, the developers are working on that application as we speak, so it will be possible to customize that little star. But in order to change the text on here, it's no different to if we want to change the text on any other of our tabs. We simply head over to Edit Information and go to our applications, which is here. We find the application, which is down here. Now, if you click Go to Application, on the FBML site, it's actually going to take you to the edit page. On static HTML, it takes you to the actual application page. So unless you want to go to the application itself, you're never going to be clicking on here. I'll show you how you edit in a moment. But what you can do here is edit the settings, which allows you to change the title of your tab. So save that, click OK. And if you do want to go back and edit, if we go back to our page, you're going to simply click back on Welcome again. Obviously, I haven't input any information in here, but if I had, it would simply bring up that page and allow me to edit it. Now, the downside of this is that every time you click on Welcome, you're always going to get this edit page. You have to go through the process of saving the tab, which can be a bit of a pain, but on the other hand, how often do you actually view your own pages? But rest assured that anyone who isn't an administrator for your account is not going to see this edit page. It is going to take them straight through to the page. So I'm now going to just very briefly show you a system that I use in order to let me just move this over, create some HTML code. So hopefully you can see that here. This is a system called Composer, and I will put a link to that in the text below this video. It's a free application. There's also a paid application called Dreamweaver, which is a simply more sophisticated version of Composer with greater functionality. But I found Composer to be very simple to use. If you can use Word or a WordPress blog editor, you can use this. And by the way, you could use your WordPress blog, your visual and HTML functions to create some HTML if you wanted to. But I'm going to show you Composer. This is a page I did recently produce, but basically the first thing you're going to do here is set the width of your page. So as you can see, you can go along here. Now, as I mentioned before, you've actually got 520 pixels here. So anything within 520 pixels is going to be visible and going to work. The next thing you might want to do is put an image in. This is one I put in earlier. To do that, you're simply going to click on this image tab here. And when you do so, it's going to open up a box that looks like this. And all you're going to put in here is your URL. Now, you do have to upload your photo onto a server somewhere. And I use PhotoBucket for this purpose, which I find works extremely well. Again, you set up a free account on photobucket.com and simply upload your photos, and then you can get a URL. Very, very straightforward. I popped in some alternate text. Alternatively, you don't have to use that text, but it is something that the search engines can read, so good idea to put something in there. Here you can set your dimensions, the actual size or custom size. And in here you just have an appearance, some appearance settings. So you can create a little bit of a margin around your photo. If it was against some text, you might want a margin. You can also put a solid border around your image. And here you can align the text to the image. So depending on where you want your photograph to be, or where you want the text to be relative to your image. And finally, you have the option to add a link to the photo if you want to make it clickable. So all very straightforward. The next thing is, obviously, I've just put some text in here. It's just a normal editor, like you would find in Word or anywhere else. Your font size, font. You've got a whole selection of different fonts here, obviously the size, etc., text color, and so on. Very, very straightforward to use. The next thing I should probably show you down here, let me just move this image down. So this is the bottom of the page. You can see that I've been working in normal view. If you want to get the source code, this is where you get the HTML code from. And you literally just copy and paste this across. You've also got a preview tab, so it just takes out all the edit functions here, so it looks a bit better. Now, if you wanted to put an opt-in box in or a video, you literally just copy and paste the embed code or the HTML code from your autoresponder straight into the source code. Now, you are going to have to work out where to put it. So it might be a good idea to put it in first before you actually start putting your text in, if you're not familiar with, reading this, which does look a bit like gobbledygook when you first start looking at it. So now I'm just going to show you very quickly. I'm literally just going to copy and paste this across over to my fan page. So hopefully you can see that again. I'll just move that over. So here I am. I've clicked back onto my welcome tab. I'm back in the edit, on the edit page, and I'm just going to drop this code straight into here. So you can see it's dropped the whole code in, all of it like that. And now I'm going to save my page. Now here you can see I can either go back to my editor, I can view my tab as a non-fan or as a fan. Obviously, if you're putting some hidden text in, you might want to check out what it looks like from both a fan and non-fan point of view. I haven't used that functionality, so it doesn't really matter. But here you can see my page has been dropped in and it looks perfect. So as you can see, very, very simple to create some basic customized pages on your fan page. And as I said before, you're going to be able to create up to 12 of these, which is a really, really amazing functionality, because most of these applications that I've looked at, they generally only allow you to create one. So I do really like this one. I've also noticed that the developers of this particular application are very active on their wall. If you look at their wall, you'll see tons and tons of questions being asked, and they're all being answered by the developers themselves. So great customer service there, which is always encouraging. Anyway, I hope that has helped you. If you do have any questions whatsoever, do get back to me. I'd be glad to answer them, especially if I've forgotten to mention something. Talk to you soon, and I'm Louise Steiner. Bye for now.